Good morning, viewers. In the last class, I told you about the statistics introduction. Now, what are the contents that we come across? All these things I'm going to discuss in this class. Okay, when you take into account the syllabus for UG standard, okay, first one is introduction. That is completely about theory part. And the second one is diagrammatic and graphic representation. In diagrammatic and graphic representation, we are having one-dimensional diagrams, two-dimensional diagrams, and three-dimensional diagrams. One-dimensional diagrams completely deals with bar diagrams. Two-dimensional diagrams, that is, we have to take into account the squares, rectangles, all those things. And three-dimensional diagrams, okay, trapezium, triangle, all those things. And after that, we'll come across pictograms and cartograms. Okay, and above all these things, we are having this pie diagram, that is representing the data in a circular manner. That is, whatever it may be, the data that was given, we have to convert that into degrees. Okay, and we have to draw a circle, and in that, up to what extent, up to what degrees the given data was given, located, all these things we have to draw, and that is pie diagram. It is very, very important from the examination point of view. And coming to the next topic, measures of central tendency. Central tendency is nothing but the central value. In a given data, what is the central value that we can locate and that we can represent the complete data with that value? That is nothing but measures of central tendency. In measures of central tendency, we are having 5 types: arithmetic mean, median, mode, geometric mean, and harmonic mean. That is, there are 5 measures of central tendency. Out of these 5 measures of central tendency, okay, 3 are calculated measures of central tendency and 2 are positional averages. And whatever it may be, the series that we are having, that is individual series, discrete series, and continuous series, everything will come under this. And from this portion, from this topic, or from this unit only, we will come across the calculation part and various formulas. Okay, now arithmetic mean, the first one, or it is simply called as average mean or average or mean. You can take in any way. In individual series, you will be given the data, and the formula to calculate the arithmetic mean or representative value is sigma x by n. Sir, what is sigma x? Summation of all the data. And when you go for your higher studies, you have learnt about this average, calculation of average. Sum of items by number of items, or sum of observations by number of observations. This is the formula that you learnt in your high school studies. Here, when you come across to degree standard, okay, you have to take into account all the individual series, discrete series, and continuous series. And everywhere you will come across different formulae. Okay, now when you go for individual series, you'll come across direct method and indirect method. That is, indirect method is also known as shortcut method. Okay, what is direct method? Directly will take into account the summation of all the observations, and with that, that summation we have to divide with the number of observations. That is why the formula is arithmetic mean is equal to sum of observations by number of observations. Sigma x, the formula for that is bar x. Bar x or x bar, they will represent arithmetic mean with bar x or x bar. So bar x is equal to sigma x by n. Sigma x is nothing but summation of all the data right from beginning to end. that is sigma x1 plus sigma x2 plus sigma x3 plus sigma x4 etc etc sigma xn by n. N is nothing but number of observations, how many observations are given. That is nothing but the value that we derive by direct method. Now coming to indirect method or shortcut method, we have to take we have to choose one thing, one observation as assumed mean. It is not the actual mean, please. Assumed, we are assuming that it is mean. So assumed mean is represented by A, capital A, and we have to take deviations from assumed mean. That is all the data, okay, all the data, that is x1, x2, x3, etc. minus A. So that is nothing but D, deviations taken from assumed mean by n, number of observations. So the formula is bar x is equal to A plus sigma D by n. Sigma, that is all the deviations we have to total, and that summation we have to divide with the number of observations. That is the formula to calculate the arithmetic mean. Now, these are the two methods that we come across when we go for individual series. And in the last class only itself, I told you that the difference between individual series, discrete series, and continuous series. Individual series is nothing but the raw data that was given to you. When you go for discrete series, along with the data, you will come across the number of occurrences of that data, that is frequency, F. Okay, so the data along the frequency, whatever you are given, it will belongs to discrete series. And coming to continuous series will be in classes or groups. That's why individual series and discrete series, we will call them as ungrouped data, and continuous series, we will call them as grouped data, because we will come across groups or classes along with the frequency. Okay, along with the frequency. Now individual series is over. Now we are going to discrete series. There also you will come across two methods, direct method and indirect method. So what is direct method, sir? The formula to calculate direct method is bar x is equal to sigma fx by n or sigma f. So what is this sigma fx? Product of summation of product of frequencies with their corresponding values. So whatever it may be the data that was given, we have to multiply with frequencies. That is nothing but product of frequencies with their variables, and after that we have to summation, we have to sum up them, that is sigma fx. So bar x is equal to sigma fx by n. Here n means total frequency. In individual series, we will count and we will write the number n. But here in discrete series, we have to total the frequency, and that total frequency will become the n or sigma f. So bar x is equal to, once again I am repeating, bar x is equal to sigma fx by sigma f or n. Now this is about direct method. Now coming to indirect method or shortcut method. Whatever we have done previously in shortcut method of individual series, we have to do same thing. That is, we have to take one value as a assumed mean, and we have to take deviations from each of them from the assumed mean. You will come across positive values as well as negative values. Whatever it may be, leave like that and take deviations. Then after taking the deviations, you have to multiply the deviations with the corresponding frequencies, and after multiplication, after finding the product, you have to total that, that is sigma fd, and you have to total the frequencies, that will be n sigma f or n. So the formula is bar x is equal to a plus sigma fd by n. Sigma fd by n. This is how you have to calculate the arithmetic mean in discrete series, that too in indirect method. This is the formula. Now coming to continuous series. So there what we will come across? Here in continuous series we will come across classes like 0 to 10, 10 to 20, like that. There also you will come across two methods, exclusive method and inclusive method. Exclusive method, that is, whatever it may be the upper value of first class, okay, exclusive, it won't be the same. It won't be the same. It will be different. Like 0 to 9, 10 to 19, this is exclusive class. Inclusive, that is, it is included. So, for example, 0 to 10, and 0 will call that thing as lower limit, and 10 will call that thing as upper limit. In classes, you will come across two limits, lower limit and upper limit. 0 to 10, if you take into account, 0 is known as lower limit, that is the first one, it is known as lower limit, and the second one, it is known as upper limit. Okay, so like this you will come across. So 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, like that you will come across, along with frequencies. Here you have to observe one thing. Frequencies are of two types: simple frequency, cumulative frequency. So what is simple frequency? Simple frequency is that frequency which is not in regular manner, blindly. It won't be in regular manner. That is, it starts with a small number, increases in the middle, and again decreases. So it won't be in a regular manner. It will be in an irregular manner. So that frequency, we'll call that thing as simple frequency. So what is cumulative frequency? Cumulation, that is adding up. We have to add the frequencies one to one. Okay, so when you are adding, automatically it will be in a regular form. That is, it will start with a small value and gradually it increases. That is nothing but cumulative frequency. So these two things you must recognize when you are going for group data. Okay, when you are going for group data, these two things you have to recognize regarding frequencies. Now coming to the problem, you will be given the classes along with frequency. Now what we have to do and how to find out the arithmetic mean? Here the first step is you have to take into account midpoints or mid values. Sir, how will get midpoints or mid values? By adding the lower limit and upper limit and dividing that total by 2, you will come across the mid value or midpoint. That is, midpoint is equal to lower limit plus upper limit divided by 2. So that it will be the mid value or middle point. And first of all, the second step is, after finding out the mid values or midpoints, you have to take the frequencies and you have to product that. That is mid value into frequency. It will come to Fm. Okay, Fm, product of frequency with their corresponding mid values. And after that we have to add all those things. That is, we have to summation that. So bar x is equal to sigma Fm by sigma F. That is the formula to calculate arithmetic mean in direct method. There you will come across three methods: direct method, indirect method, and step deviation method. The third one is step deviation method. So direct method, I told you, under direct method, bar x is equal to sigma Fm by sigma F. That is the arithmetic mean, according to direct method. Now coming to indirect method or shortcut method, there what we have to do is we have to take the deviations, like how we are doing in indirect method in individual series and discrete series. In the same way we have to take deviations, but one thing you have to observe is here you have to take deviations not from the data, please. From the midpoints you have to take the data, that is, from the midpoints you have to take one value as assumed value, and you have to take deviations. You may come across positive deviations or negative deviations, forget about that. Okay, so positive deviations or negative deviations will come across. So that deviations into frequencies, that is FD, that is FD. So after getting the product, you have to summation, you have to summarize, that is you have to summation them. So you will get sigma FD. Then after that you have to add the frequencies, that is sigma F. Now we got sigma FD, sigma F. Now the direct method formula under continuous series or group data is bar x is equal to sigma A plus sigma FD by sigma F. A plus sigma FD by sigma F. That is the formula to calculate arithmetic mean under indirect method in continuous series. Now, the question that arises for you is, sir, whether we have to take any value in the mid values or any value, other value. You can take any other value. There is no compulsion that you have to take from the mid values only. Mind it. There is no compulsion that you have to take from mid values only. You can take any number, provided that you have to take deviations from that number only. Taking one value as assumed mean and taking deviations from other value, it is not correct. Whatever it may be, the value that you have taken as assumed mean, from that assumed mean only you have to take deviations. You may come across positive deviations or you may come across negative deviations. That is the secondary thing. But this thing also you have to keep in mind when you are doing this method. Okay, fine. Now, the third method is step deviation method. That is, sometimes you will come across small deviations. When you come across small deviations, okay, multiplying them and adding them, it will be very easy. But sometimes when you come across bigger values, okay, it is not possible and it is time taking aspect to multiply and you have to add. So what we have to do is we have to make the deviations to small numbers. How we can do that? By dividing the deviations with the class interval. Class interval is nothing but it is represented by I or C. Sir, where we have to represent I and where we have to represent C? When the classes are in regular form, then you can take C, that is difference, average class interval. When the classes are not different, I mean, in a serial manner, in a regular manner, then you have to take into I. This is the important point that you have to take into account. When the classes are in regular form, you can take C. When the classes are not in regular form, you can go for I. But we have to divide the deviations with I or C. Thereby what will happen is the deviations will become smaller numbers. So first thing is you have to take mid values, you have to take one value as assumed mean, and you have to take deviations. Their deviations are represented with another letter D dash. Okay, up to now I didn't told you about D dash. Now we am telling you D dash. What is this D dash, sir? The deviations only that we are making it very small. So d dash is equal to m minus a by I. That is d dash. That is, all the deviations we have to divide with class interval, and after that we are going to multiply. That is, we are going to convert that into original values. Okay, so d dash. Then you have to multiply with frequencies. You will come across fd dash, and you have to summarize. You have to summation them. That is sigma fd dash. Okay, and after that you have to add the frequencies. That is sigma f. So bar x is equal to, that is arithmetic mean, is equal to a plus sigma fd dash by sigma f. That is the formula to calculate arithmetic mean under shortcut method or indirect method, or not shortcut method, step deviation method. In step deviation method you have to calculate like that. Okay, all the things you must be very thorough, and you have to do problems on this. Okay, we'll continue in the next class, and please subscribe to my channel if you are interested.